Hello, Los Angeles. This is Pascal Vicedomini from Roma, Italy. I am so happy to be in touch with you. This is an important day for the festival. This is the fourth day. We are approaching the end of the week when on Friday night at the Institute of Culture in Brentwood, it will be the presentation of the Legend Award to the Maestro Dante Spinotti and to other two candidates to the Oscar, as well as Paolo Sorrentino. We're going to honor with Maestro Spinotti, Enrico Casarosa, nominated for Best Animation, Luca is the name of the movie, produced by Pixar Disney. Then we have another wonderful artist, a costume designer, nominated to the Oscar for the second time on a row. Last year for Pinocchio, directed by Matteo Garrone, this year for Cyrano, directed by Joe Wright. So it's a beautiful day in Los Angeles. We can see some images all over. There is the preparation of the Oscars, of course, and there is a lot of action. Of course, we are here in this area. It's just in the middle of Hollywood, just around the corner of the Hollywood and Island Center, where there is the Chinese Theater and of course the Hollywood Dolby Theater. As you can see, they are preparing the place where the red carpet covered, and here we moved where we are now in on the red carpet, just in front of the theater where my friend Jimmy Kimmel every single day makes his show, Walk of Fame, where exactly we had the privilege to make the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce present 4 stars. We are happy that we could achieve, thanks to the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, 4 stars for Italian legends. First of all, Bernardo Bertolucci. Then we had Andrea Bocelli, and to follow Maestro Ennio Morricone. I remember that day with Quentin Tarantino, and of course the last time with my beloved friend and dear Maestra Lina Vermeuler in 2019. You can see Hollywood Boulevard very close because they are preparing everything. But let's go live to Hollywood with Maestro Dante Spinotti. What a privilege to have him here. Maestro, buongiorno.
Buongiorno, hello.
Hello.
It's my, hello Pascal, it's my privilege.
No, Maestro, we know how busy you are all the time. You are one of the most beloved Italian men in Hollywood. You are really an icon. The only person talking about men that I remember so much loved was Dino De Laurentiis. Now it's your time. You are the guru of the Italian cinema in Hollywood. How does it feel to be considered so important for the Italian cinema?
Well, thank you, Pascal. I would never get close to the idea of, me being in the same category as Dino De Laurentiis. Dino was a giant of film production, and the reason why I'm here talking to you is I owe it to him. I owe it to Dino, who's been always very supportive. I mean, I worked with Dino for 2 years, for 2-3 years. And then I kept going on and had a wonderful relationship with Marta De Laurentiis, his wife. So thank you, Naples, too. Why not? Naples, I am doing a documentary in Naples with a very good friend of ours who is Trudy Styler. And so I will be back in Naples at the end of May to finish the documentary. And, I've shot there for a month and a half. And I've known Naples way back since I was in the military service, soldier. Because I shot there a very important movie for Naples, which is Così parlò Bella Vista by Luciano De Crescenzo. So yes, I'm happy to be here and happy to have this recognition from Italy, from Italians, from you, from the Italian community here in Los Angeles.
So you gave me many issues to talk about. You started from my hometown, Napoli, and you cannot believe how proud we are. You and Trudy Styler are making these documentaries. I know that Trudy has been shooting a lot. I know that she's driving you and the producer Luciano Stella and the other lady, my dear friend, I forget the name, but I will be back, Carolina Terzi.
Yes,
She's making crazy, but actually Trudy is trying to give her love for passion for this area. As you know, Trudy has been serving the Ischia Global Festival as president since 2008 when she first arrived, and in 2009 she also brought her wonderful husband Sting. Since then they become almost honorary citizen, and of course through the years when Sting came to make concert in Napoli, and of course all the time she's been going through to approach Ischia, she got in love for the town. So I remember when Luciano Stella talked to me about Trudy directing, I said, this is a smart idea, and I really made my effort in order to make it happen. Then, when Trudy was involved, the first thing she says, yes, I'm doing it, just if with me will be Maestro Dante Spinotti.
Yes, we did a film probably 30 years ago, I have to say, produced by Mario Orfini in Cinecittà. And since then, it's kind of rare that in the in the profession of making movies, that you establish these very long friendships, meaning you have a very intense relationship while you're doing the film, but then you never know. Maybe you see someone 20 years later, or maybe 2 weeks later. In this case, we've been staying friends for a long time with Trudy and also with Sting. I must say, they're kind of a wonderful couple. And then the enthusiasm of going back to Naples and finding the city again, and which is so exciting and so interesting and so beautiful to shoot. So I'm looking forward even to this final week in Napoli. Not to mention, somebody was talking to me about a life changer recently, a friend of mine, a life changer, talking about food, this food. A real life changer is to be in a restaurant in Naples and have a pizza. That experience is a real life changer between many other things.
Well, I know that for you it's been much more than a pizza because I know that you've been shooting so many hours of material, and to make just one long feature will be difficult to cut with all the great material you already shot. What do you want to achieve with this movie? I heard that she means Miss Trudy Styler, wants to name this movie, and then there is Naples, e poi c'è Napoli. I don't know if it will be the final title, but this already means a lot to me, that she wants to say that there is Italy and there is the world, but then Napoli is another story. What is the story of Napoli for Dante Spinotti and Trudy Styler?
Well, documentaries are becoming more and more important, more and more spectacular, because of the help of technology. I carry with me a still camera. It's a Leica on my neck all the time. This means that when I see something beautiful, I can pick up my camera, lift it up, and press a button, and I film and I photograph and I film what is beautiful in front of me. So this to me is very exciting because we have of course, a small crew. It's not a crew as big as a movie set. We have a small crew of very good people. We have regular traditional cameras, beautiful, and also a beautiful Napolitan crew, and someone is coming from Rome. But on the side of that, I carry my camera, so that allows me to capture beauty when I see it, and this is very exciting for me. So, what am I trying to do? Impacted again by the greatness of this Napoli, of this city, in all its aspects. What's great about Trudy is that she's really digging deep. I mean, she's doing a movie looking at Napolitan families, Napolitan professions, artists, named Napolitan artists. What else? There's also some music. There are immigrated people to Napoli. We met on the street some amazing people, like a lady who was as good as any amazing actress you can find on stage, and she took us through some dialogue she invented on the spot without ever looking in camera. I mean, she was a huge talent found. So, we do hope that in the end there will be an interesting visually film about what Napoli is deep down, meaning in a very intimate way, because we go to the people's home, to the family's home. We talk about women's association. We have this encounter with Don Antonio, Rione Sanità, who has some incredible initiatives. We have, of course, we spoke to Roberto Saviano, and a lot of people and characters that were found by Luciano and Lorenza Stella, who are wonderful, really wonderful producers. And I've known Trudy through the years for being a very accurate, very serious, very involved, filmmaker and director. And that's how she approached this story, with also an important experience, also a documentarian, because she took part in some award-winning documentaries, some Academy Award-winning, Oscar-winning documentaries with the late Michael Afton. So it's just great, That's why I'm making all the efforts to be back there for the last week at the end of May and complete this film.
Actually, we hope that this year, if you're not busy, you can make also to Ischia finally, July 10, 17. We are dying to have you there, Maestro. Please try to find a little hole in your full agenda between professional commitment and family affair, which is a big part of your life. Considering you are Italian, we totally understand that family first of all. I was very impressed while you were talking, because you spoke a few times about the freedom you have going around with your camera. Of course, being a legendary maestro, there are so many professionals who actually are dying to work with you and to carry on their camera with you to take all the images. But you, during this conversation, did a few times this sign showing this I'm free with my Leica. So you think that technology is helping creativity, though?
Well, technology is only a help. I mean, you do these things. Your contribution to these things, like in any movie, is really a storytelling contribution. Is a contribution to your creativity. However, technology is helping, especially in documentary, because this lightweight camera is very immediate, it's very fast. You just lift it to your eyes. You don't have to take it off the case. You don't waste precious minutes. One morning we were shooting close to a very famous fish store. I'm sure you know it, Pascal. It's somewhere in Rione, Napoli. It's a great fish store, and the main crew was shooting somewhere else. I stayed back there, and at some point, this fish store, which was in the open, with all the beautiful fresh fish brought in, laid out on big tables in front of the store, like a theater operation started. One of the people that were selling fish in the store, with the owners, one of the clerks, whatever, they started singing in Napolitan and talking loud, inviting clients to come and check this fish. Hey, it was deep Napolitan. It was a fantastic event that happened right there, in front of my eyes. So we had our sound mixer next to us, who stayed back, and it was just amazing. So in itself, it's a huge, moment of human theater happening right there on the spot that you can capture because you are fast, because you have this new technology that's happening to you. And, the thing tells a story about the way, this culture in Napoli has to do with life, the way they approach life with a lot of energy and with a touch of positive attitude and happiness at the same time.
Maestro, you're being a hero for Hollywood directors for a while. Do you remember when you first arrived in Hollywood with your first job? The world is definitely changed a lot. What's your feeling looking back at so many years ago?
Well, as you said, really a lot has changed in these years, especially from the very first time that my wife to be back then, and I came here. I was doing a film for Bille. It was called I Paladini, Storie d'Armi ed Amore. It was my first movie as a freelance. How many years ago? I don't know, maybe 40, 44, 43. And I was invited to go to Hollywood to meet some of the people who were doing visual effects here to be able to contribute to our movie and do write a relation on what was available in the visual effect world for the film we were shooting with Giacomo Mattiato and Vides. Nicola Carraro was the producer. So a lot of time has obviously changed from there. I went to Disney, I went to different companies. But even if I go back to 20 years ago when I came here to do my first movie, it was more than 20 years, I'm sorry, it was 32 years. My first movie was Beaches with Disney. Especially now with, also we went through the pandemic, so people for some time didn't go into the movie theaters, went very little. A lot now is television. We have these big television sets in our houses. So a lot of time it's just better to stay home and watch a movie at home as opposed to going out to the theaters. And so we are seeing these changes as well as, for instance, the fact that I remember as many years ago that my wife and I went, we were doing the first movie, Beaches, with Disney. And I did the first movie because that first movie here in Hollywood with Disney, because after having seen a movie like Crimes of the Heart, which I did with Dino De Laurentiis producing, and which had three great actresses, Diane Keaton, Jessica Lange, Sissy Spacek, I was kind of considered the cinematographer who could make every lady look 10 years younger. Imagine that. And so Disney called me to have a meeting about the possibility of doing a movie with Bette Midler, who was then a very popular actress, she was making huge box office, making a lot of money with her movies, very successful. And so I came here to do this film with her, with Gary Marshall directing. That was the first time. But I remember when we were going around in Marcella, we were waiting for the answer from the studio, who decided very quickly. Well, I went to lunch, probably got a little drunk, and I went to lunch here in LA. And immediately after, the phone rang, and it was my agent saying, Dante, at Disney, they confirmed that they want you to do the film. And they invite you to go right away to the studio to talk to the head of the studios about doing the movie. And I remember thinking also, guess what, that, the food has changed a lot here in Los Angeles. Meaning back then, it was a very American food. The quality was so. The wines coming from California were not really good. I mean, good and honest, but very heavy in taste. This has changed in these 40 years, normal 35 years, whatever it is, enormously. Now Los Angeles is probably one of the capitals of restoration and great food, and chefs come here to compete. And the California wines are very expensive, but they're definitely comparable with any wine coming from Italy or France.
Especially the wine coming from Palagio, where Sting and Trudy produces several varieties of wine, no? I bet you have at home plenty of their wine.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I tried them all, and they recently changed their winemaker, and they're just really excellent and fantastic. Not to forget about some wines from Naples too. I know there's an area where we produce some wonderful wine. Pascal, I don't remember where exactly, but I tried one day and I was really surprised.
Maestro, listening to your answer about my thought of difference between the past and today, I can tell that Los Angeles has changed a lot, but it's not changed the love that the Los Angelino and all America has for Italy, for the Italians, and for real maestros such as you and such as Renzo Piano, considering also that Architetto Renzo Piano has been responsible for the construction of the Academy Museum that was opened last fall with the Visionary Award presented to Miss Sophia Loren. So how do you like the Academy Museum? I know that it was a lot of time, it takes a lot of time to make it work. You are a member of the Academy, you have been twice nominated. Do you recognize yourself in that building done by Renzo Piano?
That is excuse me, let me turn this up. That is a good yeah, no, it's not exactly.
Trudy, maybe.
However, I also was when the operation started with Renzo Piano. I also was in the oh, I'm sorry. Please. I also was in the
board
of directors of the Academy. So I went to a couple of meetings or three with Renzo Piano as well. On encounters, I met him, and that was great. I have to say that finally, this last year and this winter, I was able to come back to Italy and see my kids. I had 2 children in Italy and 2 grandchildren. I was able to come back, and so I haven't had the chance to be quite honest, to go and see the museum, which I will do very soon. So I haven't seen it yet. And
okay, but I had many good things. I mean, in any way, there is not changed the love that American has for us. It's even improved, considering also the 3 nominations that there are this year to the Oscar. We are very well respected.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we have a history here, you know. You probably do not know that the founder of the Bank of America, maybe you don't know, Pascal, the founder of the Bank of America was an Italian man from San Francisco. You know, the guy who probably started, you know, after the big fire, I think, in San Francisco. I don't remember exactly what year. But he had a bancarella, you know, at the on the harbor of San Francisco, and he was lending money to his Italian, you know, paisanos, Italian connationals, and he did so well that he became the president, the founder, the first president, the founder of the Bank of America. So, yes, we are definitely here. We are beloved, as you know. My great colleague Vittorio Storaro is one of the great maestros of lighting for cinema, of telling stories for cinema, because we talk about lighting. In fact, what we do is we tell the story through our camera work, our lighting, the camera position. We tell the story, we help tell the story in a film with the director, and we help making it fascinating.
Maestro, you are being honored with so many awards. I think you deserve an Oscar. I hope that you're gonna get it for a movie, but I'm gonna fight to make the Academy honor you as I did for Lina Vermeulen, because you really are somebody who makes the difference in Hollywood. How do you feel so much loved in this difficult business? Because there is no doubt you are one of the most respected professional in that town.
Well, you're very generous in your comments, Pascal. I think one of the reasons is that I'm coming from a region called Friuli, actually from a part of Friuli, which is called Carnia. So those people are kind of recognized from being enduring, sort of hard-headed. You know, coming here was not easy because you're encountering new crews, you're working with new people, nobody knows you. You just have to be able to endure difficult moments, frustrations. And of course, I was lucky because I was kind of born with one talent, which is light and shadow. So you need to probably, you know, trust your talent, and even though the times are hard, just keep going and endure.
Perfect. So, Maestro, I really thank you so much for your time. I can't wait that on Friday night, when the Consul General of Italy, Silvia Chiave, the Director of Italian Institute of Culture, Emanuele Amendola, will honor you at the Italian Institute of Cultura. I'm so sorry, I am in Rome, I want to be with you, but I will try. I will send you a message. I will try to connect, because for me it's a really magic moment to have you attending the Los Angeles Italia Festival, accepting the LA Italia Legend Award. We are so proud of you, and we really looking forward to see you in person in Italy again. And for now, just one word: God bless you, Maestro.
Grazie, thank you, Pascal. It's great. I'm looking.
Welcome to Los Angeles, Italia. It's another beautiful day in Hollywood, because the festival, the Italian festival, is going on, and we had the first 2 days was phenomenal. After a great opening day, yesterday was the day of Paolo Sorrentino getting to the Chinese theater, showing his movie, the last screening of the year for this movie, because then there was the closing of the vote, and so this was the last screening for promoting his movie. And then he got an award at the Chinese theater in front of a full theater, 500 people, for Paolo Sorrentino and his Hand of God. Thank you so much to Lisa Tabak, to Kelly Dalton, to Ted Sarandos on Netflix, who made this happen, to have Paolo Sorrentino in his home country festival, Los Angeles, Italia Chinese Theater. So let's see a few images of yesterday with Paolo Sorrentino arriving on the red carpet. My director should show you soon what's happened yesterday. Alberto, facciamo vedere Sorrentino? Okay?
Okay.
Perfetto.
So we have a beautiful surprise. We're honored that the Los Angeles Italia Film Festival gets to have a wonderful Oscar-nominated director again for this incredible movie that you just saw, with his personal and moving story to his life, which I'm sure he will tell you about. And of course, he's already, all of us, we need to wish him luck to win this year again after 2014 with the great beauty, La Grande Bellezza. We're so blessed to have him here tonight. And the moderator of the Q&A will be the director of the Italian Cultural Institute. Where is he? Emanuele Amendola. Please welcome to the stage Paolo Sorrentino.
Grazie. Thank you very much. She's Lydia, my translator.
So, later on, you're going to listen what Paolo Sorrentino told me yesterday, but for a moment, let's go to two Italian players. One is really one of the most successful directors in Italy, and I'm so proud this year to show Superheroes, a beautiful movie he did recently with the phenomenal Alessandro Borghi and the charming and talented Jasmine Trinca. And of course, there is on the other side Pietro Peligra, chief of RS Production, who actually is bringing to Los Angeles, Italia, a few documentaries and also a big movie directed by Sergio Rubini, co-produced with Agostino Sacca, and the movie is called The Philippa Brothers. First of all, Paolo Genovese, we're gonna miss you so much to watch your movie Superheroes without you, but I know that you're super busy now because you never give up, and you're already working for another big project.
Hi, Pascal. Yes. Anyway, I'm really proud and happy that you show my movies in Los Angeles Italia Film Festival. It's always a great and big happen, and also a great opportunity for all Italian directors and actors and screenwriters that you give to us the opportunity now to show our works in this important city like Los Angeles. Yes, I'm afraid to don't be there, but I'm working on a new project, a Disney project for Walt Disney, but now I can't tell anything right now. Now we are in pre-production and we will shoot next summer. So maybe we will show in your festival next year my new work.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We are very curious. Pietro Peligra is for the first time with us in Los Angeles, although he was already with us in Ischia and Capri. I mean, he's becoming one of the players for this club of people that we created between the Naples Bay and Hollywood. Pietro?
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure, first of all, to participate to Ischia last year, and of course also to showcase a couple of documentaries during this festival right now, and also the movie we co-produced with Pepito Produzioni on I Fratelli De Filippo, the De Filippo brothers. Now I'm actually in Italy because we are undergoing several new projects right now. So I definitely would have loved to be there, but for sure there are new projects coming over, and we will be very happy to present them at your next festival in Ischia this summer.
Great, Pietro. I know that you have to leave, but you're going to lose one of the best directors in the world as well as Paolo, because here we go with the wonderful maestro from Denmark, Oscar winner, Bille August. Hello, Billy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, very well, very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. It's nice to be with you.
So I am always very enthusiastic when I get a reunion with a such a great friend like you, Paolo and Pietro. Although my heart is broken because we are trying to make the ball rolling for the cinema and the cultural industry, but we all think about what's going on in Ukraine. What's your feeling in Denmark about it?
Oh, everybody think it's very, very sad. It's just a tragedy, and it's something you can understand. It's just crazy. It's very, very sad, very tragic.
Yes, I mean, it's when yesterday I was talking with Jim Sheridan, and I was asking Jim when the reality goes over the fantasy. This bloody war is something that we could never imagine.
No, and it's also because of one person who is just crazy. It's something you could never predict. It's just unbelievable, and it's also so hard to do something because we are in this very special situation. So it's just very, very tragic.
Paolo Genovese, how does it affect the creativity of a cinema master, such a big mess after the pandemic, now the war?
I think the war it's really something unbelievable right now. Really unbelievable. It's unbelievable how one single person can kill so many people. I can't believe this. And in this moment, I'm really proud to be part of the international artistic community because always and everywhere, all the artistic community are against war, always and everywhere in a very compact way. And so this makes me proud to be part of the.
Pietro, today I heard that our colleagues feels guilty because I mean all this mess is also because of miscommunication. You are responsible for Rolling Stone magazine Italia, and so you and me, because they are artists, we are journalists and entrepreneurs, are in some way co-responsible for miscommunication that create a mess. What do you think about it?
I mean, communication is always quite tricky. I mean, at the end of the day, it's both party who talks and who listen are responsible for getting it right. So, I mean, talking about miscommunication as the real cause of the war, I think it's probably a long shot. That the war is coming has happened not because of miscommunication, but because there is a real interest, economic interest by one party to take over the other party. Yet, I think that the point is still valid. I mean, having the right communication channel and managing communication in the right way, it's always useful because this can always make the different parties sitting at the same table and discussing and try to solve problem before going to escalate in a very violent way as it is happening right now. So communication can play a big role with that.
Yes, and I mean,
I apologize. Unfortunately, I have to leave as I was saying.
Thank you so much, Pietro. Bille, it's something unpredictable. Today also the Pope spoke with Zelensky, and he spoke this morning to the Italian Parliament. And I mean, we all hope that a solution has been found shortly. Although, as you know, we are organizing right now a festival in Los Angeles, and in Los Angeles, I mean, most of the people seems that nothing is happening because maybe they are so far away from there, but we are very close to Ukrainian, and also being not selfish, even if you are not close, when there is a war, such a big war, any type of war, you feel so sad, no?
Correct, and of course it also puts another aspect into all this refugee situation, because only 2 years ago we had all these refugees from Syria, which we were very reluctant to accept, and all of a sudden now we accept all these sad people from Ukraine. So it has also questioned, when do we start? When do we decide to help people, refugees, or when do we not? So it puts a lot of interesting questions, which I think after this war will end, we have to discuss that also.
Paolo, I mean, we could never imagine that this could happen, and it's really something that is affecting our youth. You have 3 children, no?
Yeah. Yes, I think for the guys, for the young generation, pass from the pandemic to the war, it's really incredible and amazing. All their point of view about this world are changing. Um, for example, speaking with my child, but also speaking with the young guy, because now, I teach at the cinema school, also people about 20 years old. Everyone, it's quite okay with the pandemic, because they feel that's not depend to anyone. It's just destiny. But about war, they really can't understand, because most of all, the first mondial war and the second mondial war are so far. A lot of them, they don't know about the mondial war, and so this is the first really war that they feel so close. And everyone, when we speak about this, can understand how it's possible right now. They can understand about what they view at the television, about the child, about the family, about all this violence, and most of all, they don't understand how it's possible that one person can decide all this, and all the other person are not able to do something to stop this war. It's unbelievable for most of my child, and for the most of young guys.
So, Billy, what are you working on now in this moment?
I'm working on 2 films, but the most important film is maybe the one I'm doing in Italy. I'm doing a film in Ischia, September, October, and it's a project that I am so much looking forward to do, and it's based on a novel by Luca, and it's called Me You, and right now we are in pre-production, we are casting, and we are finding location on Ischia, and this is also for me a tribute to this beautiful island of Ischia.
So, Paolo, Billy is one of the directors who is in love literally for Italy. Which is the country you like most beside Italy?
Uh,
Paolo.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So I said Billy
I
House
didn't hear.
is one of the international director most in love for Italy. Which is the country that you like most? I mean, he's gonna shoot soon in Ischia.
Yeah. No, the country maybe USA. I really love New York City. My dream is to shoot in that town. I really love. I shoot Blame Freud. About 5 years ago, a part of my movie in Manhattan. For us that we grown up with Woody Allen movies, that Manhattan is the town of cinema for me, for that kind of comedy, for what it represents. And so maybe if I have to choose, I love a lot of different country. I have shooted in really a lot of country, but if I have to choose one, I choose Manhattan.
Manhattan, it's the American dream. Billy, you never
Yeah.
had the American dream, although you've been working with so many international American actors, but the American dream was never in your soul.
No, not really. I have done it a couple of times, but you know the complication I think with especially Hollywood is that it is the producer has the final cut of the film, and which means that very often in Hollywood, if the producers, the studio can have an idea for a film, they hire a writer and they hire the actors, and then they hire directors to do the film they want to do. But in the very end of the story, it's really the studio who makes the decision, because it's an industry, and a lot of the studios have to feed their distribution system. So, and for me, I don't always like that way of working. I like to, but can I add something about my love for Italy? Because when I was a kid in school, every year, the teachers took us to the cinema where we saw a bad Western film, B-Western film, where cowboys was killing the Indians. And one day, by the mistake, the operator in the cinema, he had Fellini's La Strada showing that film. And it was a shock for me to see that film. Something changed inside me. And I just remember, if I one day could do films, then I would be a happy man. This was the direction. And since then, the Italian movie has played such a big part in my heart.
So, and the same as well, you, Paolo, what is the movie that made you in love for New York?
Manhattan.
Yes. What is the movie that impressed you most before going and visit it?
The movie of Woody Allen called Manhattan.
Just Manhattan. I see. Phenomenal. Yeah. Great. So, Paolo, you are
but anyway, I love Manhattan for sure. But for me, it's not for make no. You mean an international movie? For me, it's not so important not to make a movie in English language or to shoot abroad. For me, the goal right now, especially for Italian director, is to make an Italian movie that became international movie. This is in this moment my feeling about international movie. My dream, not to shoot abroad, but just to shoot in my country, in my language, and to export the movie outside. This is best goal right now for me.
So, Billy, Martin Scorsese just was very precise, very aggressive against the studios who's only trying to get a movie who makes profit to go theatrical. And so with the new type of distribution going on that was accelerated by, of course, the shutdown, really sweet movies such as yours or Paolo Genovese movies are always in big risk in terms of box office. So what is your feeling about? Do you care about it, or you just because Martin Scorsese is with also with other big masters such as you, is trying to in some way to force the studios to not produce only superheroes movie?
No, I think we need to make films which has a signature. I think that's very important for a director, and not only do all these big action film, Marvel films. But I think it's interesting now that the studios don't seem to want to do this kind of film with directors who has a signature. It's interesting that with all these streaming services like Netflix and all that, they seem to finance this kind of film. And it seems also that there will become an agreement between the cinema owners and all the streaming services, Netflix, so that a Netflix film, for instance, can play in the movie theaters for maybe 1.5 months as a theatrical release, and then later go on streaming. And if that happens, then there's a big hope for the future.
Paolo, you are one of the director most successful in terms of reselling your movies. Your Perfect Strangers movie was a Guinness of remake worldwide. Although, as Eduardo De Filippo, one of the most popular Italian dramaturg, said, examination never stops, because I mean, your recent movie Superheroes, beautiful movie with tremendous performance by Alessandro Borghi and Jasmine Trinca. We're gonna show it at the Chinese theater in Hollywood. It's a beautiful movie, but it was totally smashed by Spider-Man. So poetry against superheroes. This is not fair. But I mean, in theater, people are. It seems that they don't want to go there anymore.
But in, the world market right now is totally changed, and this is okay. Now we have an incredible offer by platform, by Netflix, Disney, Amazon, and so reason why to go to the cinema now is totally different. It's up to us. It's up to the director and producer. Now we have to deserve our audience. So if your movie is great movie, interesting movie, the audience move from the sofa, from the home, and otherwise everyone have really a lot of offer in all this platform. So I think for the future, the responsibility is by the author that have to deserve the audience with beautiful project, and also maybe to the cinema, because now more than in past, the cinema, the place must be really an experience. So we have changed the screen, we have changed the seat, we have to offer to the audience a really extraordinary experience, different in terms of quality respect the home video. It's up to us. It's up to us to get people in the cinema inside instead of house.
So, Billy, in which way does this situation affect your future project, considering that you are now almost approaching a new production, which is a very sweet movie shot on the sweet island of Ischia by a very beautiful book, novel by Eri De Luca. And of course, maybe you're going to have in front of you the next Spider-Man or the next Batman or the next Avengers.
I don't know. Of course, it is a challenge that you're up against all these big popcorn film, and the only thing you can do as a director is trying to make something interesting, trying to do something that. But I don't think it will ever die. I mean, people like to go to movie theaters, and people also like to see this kind of film with a signature. And I think the beauty of is going to the movie theater is that the audience buy the ticket and they go to a dark room and they have a big screen. And it allows the audience to be children again. You know, they are completely open, vulnerable. They want to believe in what they see. And that feeling of allow yourself to be a child does not exist when you watch a film on the screen in your on the television in your home. And I don't think that will ever disappear, that love of going to movie theaters. And I think directors only have to continue trying to make interesting films that are not only based on making big money quickly.
So Billy, in some way, how does this complicated international situation affect in your perspective of production in the future? I mean, like, do you ever ask to yourself questions about what is proper to do, or you just go with your art when you make a movie?
You cannot think about that when you make a film. You have to do whatever you believe in and try to make us as believable as possible, and work with the crew and the actors to make an interesting story, and try to make a story that engages the audience. It's all about how to write a story, how to make a film that you can engage the audience, so the audience wants to go and see your film. That's what you can do. But I think this development of the studios now don't want to make this kind of film that we like is interesting, and it's interesting that the streaming services has taken over and is now willing to finance that kind of film, and there's a market for that. But that's a new thing.
So, Billy, tell me something about this history that you're gonna work on, the novel by Eri De Luca.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful. This boy who is coming to, he's 16 years old and he's on holiday in Ischia. And on this holiday, he meets girl. She's 20, and of course, much too old for him. But he falls deeply in love with this girl, and it reminds me so much of my own experience, and I think most people's experience when they were children. This first time you feel love, and what it means to you, and all these emotions, this chaos inside you. How do you deal with that? How do you cope with that? But and the boy, 16-year-old boy, and this woman, it's not a sexual relationship, but it's a relationship deeper than sexuality, and but it's a very, very beautiful story, and I'm so much looking forward to do it.
So, Billy, but I mean, this is a lot of poetry. Do you think that this genre of movies, how can in this very cynic society how can they get space in people life? Because my opinion is that we are becoming very bitter, and it's so rare to find a sweet poet like you that really get to work on the human feeling.
Yeah, but isn't that about identifying with the characters, and if you make a film where it's honest and the characters are real, I think it's also a way for the audience to get engaged with the story. And as a movie maker, I just have to believe that that's how it works. And most of the time, my films at least has worked pretty good theatrically. So I'm not so worried about it. But it is a new situation, and it is a brutal situation. And again, I'm really, really thankful to the reality that all the streaming services is now financing this kind of film, that they dare to do it.
So, Billy, how did you become a director? What made you decide to follow this career?
As I said before, it was this film about when I was in school, when I was a kid, when I saw La Strada by Fellini, and something just happened in me. It was just magic. I don't know, and I just thought that I had to do with this life. I hope that way, and a way that I've been followed that thought, and that's again why I'm so thankful to Italian films. My heart is beating for Italian films because you made so many great films in Italy with so much humanity and about life, and also what's interesting is that when people in Italy, directors or producers make very Italian film, then they're all of a sudden national. If Italy is trying to make American or Hollywood put films, then they will always fail because Hollywood is much better making that kind of film.
Does your children want to follow your career?
Some of them have already done it. Four of my children are working in the movie business. I have two daughters; they're very successful actresses, and two of my sons are screenwriters. So, but it's not
So
something that yeah.
so did you help them to make this choice? Did you send them on this direction, or there was their feeling?
No, it was actually my daughters. They just they wanted to be actresses, and they went into acting school and so on. And my sons, it was a decision they made themselves. I didn't even knew about it. But I think whatever my children are, as long as they're happy and they feel relieved in that job, that's the most important thing. But they are apparently. But I think also they grew up with making me working and my wife in the business. So they were. It was part of a childhood in a way.
So, Billy, I really thank you so much for your time, and it's always a joy to talk with you. I remember all the time we've been together, and I was even last January 3rd, where you honored Tony Servillo and for the movie of Mario Martone, but also you gave an award to Tony Servillo to deliver to Paolo Sorrentino. Paolo Sorrentino is now going for the Oscar, and as you saw before, we can see now the image of him in the red carpet. As you saw before, Paolo Sorrentino arrived at the Chinese Theater, and he was welcomed by the Consul General of Italy, Silvia Chiave, and also by the director of Italian Institute of Culture, and Paolo Sorrentino in Hollywood with all the Netflix people. And here is with our president this year, Sofia Milos, the Italian actress living in Los Angeles. This is Paolo Sorrentino on the red carpet taking picture with Nicola Corigliano of Intesa San Paolo, who's actually one of our big sponsors. There is a surprise we have now coming with us by the time we are looking at Paolo Sorrentino on the red carpet, back to me and Billy August, because shortly we're going to have here on this chair here, he's going to sit now in a few minutes, a friend of us, one of the club of Whisky and Capri. So what do you think about The End of God? Did you watch it?
Yes, and I'm happy you asked me, because that's a good example of the people. Italians should make films, because for me, The Hand of God is so Italian, and the film has such an Italian fingerprint, and that's what I like about it. And again, that's when Italy is successful making movies. That's when they have are very Italian. Then they have a strong identity, and then they're international.
Paolo Sorrentino is one of these directors that he really made it. I mean, now is this movie, The End of God, is almost fully produced by Netflix, and the next movie will be produced by Netflix. Jennifer Lawrence is starring in it. So this is when Hollywood discover a maestro, and then they look for it. You had these offers so many times when you won the Oscar, no? How was your feeling for living in Hollywood?
Are you asking me how I felt working in Hollywood?
Working in Hollywood, yes.
Yeah, but the problem, I think, because it is the Hollywood, the producers in Hollywood have the final say. They have the final cut. So you don't really 100% control your film. It's in the end of the day, you have to accept that they can do whatever they want with your film, and that is, of course, very frustrating. Plus, also you have to go on into all these script meetings, and it takes forever. And slowly you kind of change your perspective of what you really want to do. You lose your integrity there, and I think that's a problem. some directors has managed to do that, but I felt it very, very hard to keep liberty and keep doing the film I believed in, and I think with the kind of film I was able to do, and I think that's a big difference between Hollywood directors in Hollywood and directors in Europe, because we have final cut and we respect that final cut for the directors.
So here we go with one of our friends. Bobby Moresco is here. Billy.
Hello, Billy. How are you? Always good to see you, Billy.
Just rich. So do you agree with Billy said about being a director in Hollywood?
What was the last part that you said? I didn't hear it, Billy. I apologize. Tell me what it was you said.
No,
I'll tell you if I agree.
I just said it's so easy to lose your integrity when you work as a director in Hollywood, because you are influenced by all these script doctors or producers, and then there's a new producer, and they all they want to go different directors and at their directions, and you get confused, and you lose. You begin to forget what kind of film you want to make, and all of a sudden you end up doing something that anybody could do, and that's
I absolutely agree with you, Billy. It's a fight that every one of us battle with every project. One of the great things about making movies here in Italy with my friend Andrea and Danielle is that they leave me alone. They let me make the movie I want to make. And if it fails or it's a success, it's my fault. If it fails, it's my fault. If it's a success, I'm happy to have been a part of it. But in fairness to some Hollywood producers, they're only trying to help make it a better movie. The director has to be the one to fight and say, I know you're trying to help, but it's not helping. A lot of directors don't fight that battle, Billy, you know that. I've won some and I've lost some. More in TV than in movies, you find out you have 10 people giving you notes, and it's a difficult thing. Some of the movies that Paul Haggis and I made were independent films, so we were able to make our own movie. When it's an independent, when you work with a big studio, it gets really difficult.
I agree.
Yeah.
Sorry for making you talk with the name Bobby Moresco. There was the director. I tell you so many things, and so Bobby, welcome to Italy.
Thank you.
Arrived.
I just came in, and I'm very happy to be here, like always.
Yeah, we should be in Los Angeles. Let's show Alberto. Let's show what is happening in Hollywood with Paolo Sorrentino to Bobby Moresco. Actually, Bobby Moresco is one of the honorary president of the Los Angeles Italia. We started on Sunday. You see, this is Paolo Sorrentino last night in Hollywood during our festival. Welcomed by the Consul General of Italy for the screening of The End of God, the last screening of the year before the Oscar vote closes. This is with this year President Sofia Milos on the red carpet, and then of course alone is really one of the men more attention now in Hollywood. His talent is brilliant and is making him one of the new maestro with a big attention, as well as they had the old maestro of the Italian cinema of the past. What is your opinion about Paolo Sorrentino, Bobby?
Well, I watched the movie The Hand of God, and I thought it was as good as anything I've seen in a very long time. Not only is it a personal movie, and the actors are so wonderful and the writing so wonderful, it takes such a different turn in the middle of the movie. It shocks you for a minute, and you say, oh my God, he really did that. It's really quite, have you seen it, Billy?
Yes, and I loved it. And what I said before, what I like also is it has such a strong signature. It's personal, but it's very, at the same time, it's very engaging. And then it's very Italian. I love that. It has such a strong Italian all over the place. So it's beautiful.
In a big way, but halfway through the movie, it almost became a different movie, and then he ties it all together in such a magical way. I mean, it's just so great, so wonderful.
Never.
We're all so afraid to make those courageous choices in storytelling, and he did it wonderfully.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So
great. Yeah, and the actors all terrific, huh?
Oh, wow. Beautiful actors. Absolutely.
Yeah. We're not allowed to say who we voted for, but I did love that movie. Exactly.
Togli il nome, no? So yes, you don't say absolutely. No, I don't want to put you in trouble.
No,
Bobby,
we
no problem, Bobby. So, however, how do you miss Hollywood now? I mean, while during the Oscar time, we Italian are very strong at the Chinese theater, no?
Yeah, I wish I was there. As you know, I go there whenever I'm in Los Angeles. I wish I was there. Are you there, Billy? Where are you?
No, in Denmark.
Ah, you're in Denmark.
I'm
Yeah.
there, not in Hollywood. No.
Yeah, I love the festival. I miss it. I miss the food afterwards. I miss the movies. I miss the people. But you're here. You're always there. Now you're here.
Yes, I'm here because I am making a TV show on Italian public television. It's a late night show and goes on air every Wednesday.
Fantastic.
Big, long show, 90 minutes. You're going to watch it tomorrow night. And so I cannot move. This is actually a very important show. It's called Paradise, a window on over the showbiz, and so it takes me a lot to achieve such a podium, and so I have to really look after, because television is like a windsurf. When you got the wave, you gotta go, you gotta follow the wave. Otherwise, it's so difficult, so complicated. How complicated it is to find the money to make a movie?
It's tremendously. I don't know how it is in Denmark, Billy, if it's the same, but it takes forever.
It's crazy. It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Exactly.
My last movie took 6 years. The Paul Haggis and I, when we did $1 Million Baby and Crash, each one took 4 years minimum. This last one we shut down because of COVID for over 2 years, and then actor schedules. It was really difficult. So God bless anybody who makes a movie. Every movie that gets made is a miracle.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So Billy, and in some way you say that you prefer to not be manipulated by the big studios, but it's a complicated life when you need to find on the ground the money.
Yeah, it is always complicated, but as it was said before, I mean, if you find the right producer, if you work with the people, if you want to do the same film, it helps a lot. But if you are hired to do outside that, if you are hired to do a project, and if it's really the studios who wants a certain kind of film, and you just have to do whatever they want, then it's for me it's hard to work that way. And but fortunately, I've always been able to do the kind of film I want to do. So it's pretty good, but it's getting tougher. It's getting brutal, and again, thanks to Netflix and all these streaming services, it's possible.
Yeah. Well, you said the magic words. You got to be making the same movie. If you have a shot, you have a producer, you have actors, you have a cinematographer. Everybody's making the same movie. You've got a shot. But that's the problem with so many Hollywood pictures. And I don't want to put down Hollywood. They make a lot of people make a lot of movies. But more often than not, people are trying to make a different movie for a different reason. And that's when you're just dead. You're just dead.
Yeah.
So I agree.
So, Bobby, we are all curious to know how is your Lamborghini movie is coming out.
We finish, thank you, we finish post-production next week. I'm very excited. I think the actors are terrific. Frank Grillo and Mira Sorvino and Gabriel Byrne, just wonderful actors, and a lot of terrific young actors that we found here in Italy.
Great. This is also Clementino is on the.
Clementino is in the movie, and Romano Reggio.
Yes.
And my cinematographers were just fantastic.
Blasco Giurato.
Blasco Giurato, Cinema Paradiso, and then Gianfilo Corticelli, who is a David winner for cinematography. So I'm very happy with the movie, and we'll be finished next week.
Yes. So Billy is going to shoot a movie in Italy next, let's say, summer, fall. Now, Billy, what do you suggest to Billy to avoid while he's working in Italy?
Billy, where are you shooting? Are you shooting down here in Rome or up north? Where are you going?
No, we are shooting in an island. Maybe you heard about it, Ischia.
I've never heard of it. I'd love to go there someday. So that's fantastic. You're going to
Please
shoot
go.
in Ischia. How great!
It's great. Its story takes place. It's written by Eric De Luca, and it's about Ischia. It's a tribute to Ischia, to his first love in Ischia.
Oh, I love that. It's fantastic. And is that your first time shooting in Italy?
Yes, it's the first time shooting Italy, so I hope you have great crew there. I'm sure you have, but I'm looking forward.
You know, is it an English speaking or Italian speaking?
It's both. In the novel, it's based in De Luca. The boy, he because I don't speak Italian, but the boy is British, and the father is British, but the mother is Italian. And now they are coming to Ischia. They're on holiday because her whole family, Italian family, is there. So all the Italian speaks Italian, and the English speaks English. And the boy is British, so he's trying to communicate with local people. And he falls in love with this girl who she speaks a little bit of English. So it's both.
It's good. And do you speak Italian?
Not a word.
Not a word. So you're like me. I've made 2 movies in Italy, and I'm doing another one in the coming year. And I found a couple of things. The crews are fantastic. They're like the crews in New York or Los Angeles. They're tremendously hard workers. They're all smart. They all care about the film in ways that not every crew does. The problem that I had in both the movies I shot in Italy was only with the language of the actors. I found that Italian actors having to speak English, they don't find the same intent always in the language. So the more that you're able to communicate with them, whether through an interpreter or through sitting with them, that's the only problem I ever had. Once we got past the language problem and then taking the text and making it their own, that's the only thing I think you'll have a battle with. Once you do that, you're going to love shooting here. You got a great cinematographer, I assume. If not, find one of my guys. They're both tremendous.
Yeah, but we're still trying working on the cinematography. But it will be the whole crew will be Italian. So, but actually, I did one film a long time ago in Italy in the Dolomites. It was a young indie, Indiana Jones with George Lucas, and we shot the whole film up in the Dolomites in north of Italy. So it was a great experience. We had a great Italian crew then.
They were great, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, but with the language, I shot a television series in Stockholm, Sweden, and I found the same thing. When the language is not their own, the actors, there's a certain distance between them. So what I did a lot was I asked them to play the scene in Italian or in Swedish, and then once they found the language, then we turned it into the English that they had to speak, and it helped me a lot.
Yeah. No, it's true, and I think the problem is also if they have to Italian actors have to do it in English, they don't have another alternative word. If they're lost in the dialogue, then they don't have an alternative word. So they're very strict to the what's written in the script, and that makes it so stiff.
But I did find, both with the Swedish actors and with the Italian actors, if I let them rehearse in their native language, they found what they needed and then transferred that to the English. So maybe it'll help.
Right.
So, Bobby, how is going to be your Lamborghini? What type of man is your Lamborghini? It's going to be
a terrible movie.
No, but what type of man is Ferruccio Lamborghini?
Well, the trick with this movie was to understand how the mind of a genius works. I'm not a genius, so I don't know. And he was definitely a genius. He transformed not just automotive, but many other things. So I think to try to understand how a genius approaches the world and his own problems, and then the effect that has on his family, the people he loves, his friends, and what price do you pay for being somebody who's done something nobody else has done before, that's what the movie's about.
So it's very, very also psychological.
I'm not sure that I would say that. It's a character study of somebody who maybe when you leave the movie, you'll say, oh, I understand him a little bit more. I didn't know that about this man Lamborghini, who we don't think we know. He did an amazing thing. When he took on a challenge to create the first Lamborghini in a very short window of 6 months. And nobody said he could do it. And this is the way a genius thinks. When everybody says you can't do something, they say, I know how to do it.
So, Bobby, you are
Can
be...
I ask-
Yes,
Bobby,
please.
can I ask you, is the film in Italian or in English? Or what?
It's in English. It's
Oh,
in
it's
English.
I
We
see, I see.
hired in the first half of the film takes place in 1947, right after the war. We hired all Italian actors, wonderful, wonderful actors, you know. And I had that little problem. I spoke about it. We rehearsed in Italian, then they found it beautifully. And then the second part of the movie, we bring in some American actors, and they use an Italian accent, very slight, not like the Gucci film, which is a more heavy accent. We use slight accents. Miro Sorvino and Frank Grillo, they did it wonderfully. Gabriel Del played Ferrari, and he does a more of a British, not British, but not an Italian thick accent. He made it his own, which I quite loved what he did. But the young Italian actors, I was so happy with. I think when you see the film, you'll find them to be quite wonderful. The female lead had never done a movie before.
When does the film open?
Well, we finish post-production now, and I think we're going to be in August opening up, depending on how it works with our distributor and with Andrea. But I suspect August or September, Billy.
And it's for the theatrical release. It's not a Netflix.
Say again?
It's a theatrical.
No, it's not for Netflix. No.
No. It's we've got Andrea produced it through Yellow Entertainment, and our distributor is Redbox. They're moving out of video into filmmaking, and we're one of the first big movies they've taken on. So that's going to be exciting to see what they do with it. We'll see if they keep their promises.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's we were talking before with Bille August about the problems that you have today, and Martin Scorsese was very upset that you have mostly consideration just for the superheroes movies.
Look, you know, I don't know about you, Billy, but I don't know how to write that movie. But if I did know how to write it, I would write it. The ones that are done really well are done well. The problem is they take up all the space for filmmaking, which makes it difficult if you don't make those movies. But anybody who says that some of them are not pretty good, I think haven't seen them all.
There is a friend, I think. There is another friend of the gang. Look who is here.
Who's here?
Look is here.
Mr. Haggis, how are you, darling?
Sorry, Mr. Moresco.
I'm well. I'm listening to the great Billy August talk about filmmaking. I'm very happy.
So I'm thinking what I'm doing with 3 Oscar winner people myself, that I did not even win a little fake Oscar. You know.
Give you one.
Excuse
We'll
me?
go on Hollywood Boulevard. You can pick those up. Next time Bobby's here, we're going to pick you one up.
Exactly. I got no problem with that.
So this is a reunion. You know that you have been trying so many times to shoot in Ischia, dear Paul, and now Billy is going to make it.
Did you know?
I know. I'm so jealous. It's so fabulous.
Well, we should be extras. Billy, me and Haggis want to be extras in your movie.
Oh, no, we don't. I'm not working with Moresco. No. He hogs all this. He elbows me out of the way.
Pascal?
Yes.
Pascal, I have to leave now.
Thank you so much, Billy. We love you. Thank you so much for
Love
your
you.
time. And
Okay.
I'm going to go now with this special moment, a reunion of 2 via 3, andiamo a vedere in studio, with these 2 friends, old friends, Paul and Bobby. I remember on that magic night. Ciao, Billy.
Ciao, Billy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I remember on that magic night that Paul and Bobby jumped on stage and grabbed the Oscars, and it's unforgettable. I am really dreaming that this team comes back soon.
We're hoping. We're
Paul, but
hoping.
he refuses to work with me again. I keep asking him.
That's true. That is true. He knows all the best restaurants. He gets there first. I never get anything to eat. I'm always back there typing, and he's off. It's a terrible relationship. But we're dying to work together again. We talked about something a couple of months ago. In fact, something you brought up, Pascal, that we'd like to do again. So yeah, we're looking for it.
We'll find something. It'll be fun again.
So if you don't mind 1 minute, I would like to go to the Chinese theater where yesterday night Paolo Sorrentino arrived, and I also would see maybe some of the chat he does, un po' dello speech. And you know, this is a very complicated moment for a director going for an Oscar, because a few days before.
So we have a beautiful surprise. We're honored
Vai.
Yeah. Oh, and when did you know that this was the right time to tell your story to the audience?
2 years ago, I turned on 50, and I thought it was the right moment to do a movie that was important for me. I don't know. 50 was an age that I started to do i bilanci, come si dice? To take stock. And so I decided to do this movie. So that's it. There are not too many movies that a director, a filmmaker can do after the 50s, because it's a very...
That's what I love about Italians.
So
You don't need to hear them, they talk with their
important
hands.
movies I want to do, and this was the first of the list of the movies that I want to do.
So this was my moment of last night, Q&A after the screening of The End of God, one of the 5 movies running for the best international feature of the year, big competition. Paul, what do you want to say?
I can't, because I'm voting. I can't say shit other than the fact that I'm a huge Paolo Sorrentino fan. It's just, yeah, personally and he's a cinematic genius. So you can sort of infer from there where my loyalties lie. But I always vote based on the best film, and he made a pretty damn good film this year, didn't he?
I was saying before, it takes an amazing turn in the middle of the movie, and you sit there for a second and you go, did it really do that? And it was so wonderful and such smart filmmaking to make you believe it. Really terrific.
Yeah, really beautiful. Very personal. Very personal.
Yeah.
Very personal, and yes, I also heard him when he introduced in Italy. It was very moved, and I can imagine that it has to be very heartbroken, considering the story he's gone through, seeing the parents dying because of an accident in holiday, and he did not go to this vacation because he went to see Maradona at the San Paolo Stadium of Napoli. I mean, I can imagine how painful it has to be for him to approach every single day this history, no, Paul?
Absolutely. I mean, that's sadly what makes the best cinema is those great tragedies. I was thinking the other day, walking down the street, just thinking about the story for Sophie's Choice. And, I don't know why, but it's just one of those ones that pops out of you as being just a great story. Great dilemmas, something you never want to face in life. But, oh my God, does it make a great movie? So those tragedies, those things that artists can take and make into films that move us and that shake us and make us think. That's what he does.
Yeah, and does it very well.
So, Bobby, we're going to end now this conversation. I wanted just to remind to our audience that we are now in Los Angeles for the LA Italia Festival, taking place until next Saturday, March 26. You can check the program on the website, losangelesitalia.com. And you have always to remember that if you cannot make to Los Angeles for the festival, you can be part of it just through internet, approaching 2 platforms. We have 50 movies on the platform eventive.org, and we have other 50 movies on the platform mymovies.it, which means that in total we have 150 movies for this phenomenal festival that is, of course, all for free, because when we organize something like we do with Bobby and Paul and Bille and all the other Italian friends, we really try to make people part of it, just inviting for free, because they can pay their ticket for all they real on, and when they are with us, we can pay them a ticket in order to approach to a beautiful event. So thank you so much, Paul Haggis and Bobby Moresco. I hope to see you soon again on the stage and on the set together, because you 2 guys are phenomenal.
We love that. Thank you, Pascal. Thank you for encouraging.
We will do it. We will do it.
Maybe in Italy. Who knows? Ciao.
In Italy, yes.